So have you had any really interesting fan interactions?
Heather.
Yeah.
The 56-year-old women.
Yeah, they're savage.
They're so horny.
Uh-huh.
Like,
oh, wow.
No, like they're so horny. Like, I'm not kidding you. They'll bring their husband to the show, and then they will kick the husband out of the picture and then whisper in my ear if I want to go get drinks with him. And they're like, do you want to?
Yeah, do you want
just me and you? He doesn't have to come. And I'm like, what energy am I giving off? And I'm telling you, it's like every single show. They want to hang me up by the ceiling fan and shove anal beads up my butt. Like, they're the horniest group of women I've ever been around.
Yeah, it is wild. I remember one of my agents came to one of the very first year I started touring, because obviously I'm sure your audience is strongly female,
yes,
right? And it is a totally different dynamic, because a lot of us are finally, with these strong female followings, are finally getting to do stand-up for the first time. And the reason I say that is, like, you know, a lot of these other female comics, they've always had to kind of like play to the male audience. And we were just like full force, like we're just doing it for the girls.
Right.
But I mean, my agent started doing like market research on everybody who's coming to these shows, and they're like, this is fucking crazy.
It's bananas.
It's bananas.
Yeah.
And I had to, on my first tour, and I don't know if you've had this yet, but I finally had to say, ladies, we need to have a chicken quesadilla before we come to the show, because y'all are blacking out. I'm performing. I want you to enjoy this.
Right.
But you cannot pass out in the aisle or,
yes,
you know, black out in the bathroom before the show's even started.
I had to, for the first time, kick somebody out of the show 2 weeks ago, and I hated it. But the woman chose to sit directly in front of the microphone, front row.
Right.
And she was blackout.
Yeah.
And you know how it is when you get in a groove, when you're, like, you know your set.
Right.
And you know the punchlines, and you know how you like to set it up, and you're in this groove, and every 10 seconds this woman was going, and then what?
No.
And then what? And it starts throwing you off, because you know the people around her are getting annoyed. And so finally I stopped the set, and I was like, ma'am, will you please be quiet? And I hated to like dip the energy so low, because, you know, it's different in music. You just kick right into the next song and everybody's back up on their feet again. Yeah. In comedy, you know, you got to work that energy back up. But I was like, I need to take a minute, because she's ruining it for everybody.
And then what?
And then what? And so finally, I went to the far left of the stage to get away from her for about 20 minutes. I was like, all right, I'm going to come back and see if she's settled down. And then what? And I was like, oh my God. So I look at her and I was like, ma'am, security, please get her out. I was like, ma'am, we're going to have to remove you. She spits in the security guard's face. And we were all just like, what
the fuck
just happened?
What city was this?
It was Indianapolis. And the crowd was incredible. She was annoying everybody around her. So when we got her out, everybody was like, thank you. Yeah. Like, you know, and I'm like, I'm sorry to have to do that, guys.
No, listen, sometimes you got to do it. I was doing a show in like Raleigh, North Carolina, and this woman just kept screaming, I want to hear about your mother. I was like, this material right now is not about my mom. She'll be on the next tour. I want to hear about your mom. What about Robin? Where's Robin? They think that I'm like keep her in the backstage in a cage like the LSU Tiger. Right. Like, what the fuck do you think? Robin's at home. Right. She's at dinner with her girlfriends at the country club. She is not my bitch, and I am not hers. Right. And so finally, I didn't even say anything. I was just like, all right, cool. And then I finally just go, shut the fuck up. And security came over. She started fighting with the security guard. Next thing you know, she gets arrested outside because she's throwing bows at the security. It's like a Raleigh Durham police officer. But when you get arrested in North Carolina, in the next 20 minutes, your mugshot's immediately up. So we were able to pick her in a lineup because she was a woman in full cheetah print and giant diamond earrings, just blackout, mascara running down her face.
That needs to be your poster for next year.
Honestly, truly. I mean, that is the mugshots of all the women who've gotten arrested at my shows.
Have you performed in Shreveport?
No. I mean, Baton Rouge is already fucking wild.
Girl, let me tell you about Shreveport, okay? The crowd was, first of all, amazing crowd. Like, the energy was so high. But there was several people that were kind of doing the same thing, where they were just saying the same thing over and over again, you know. So when I go back to the green room after the show, the police officer comes in. And as a joke, I go, well, where the hell were you at tonight? He was like, hey, I'm real sorry. A guy died outside the venue because a guy punched him in the face with some brass knuckles. I wanted to be in there, but I was the only cop on duty in this area. And I was like, that's all right, brother. I was like, hey, no big deal. You take care of that, all right?
And it probably had no relation to your show.
No.
It was just two dudes who were fighting. They were trying to exchange something off Facebook Marketplace.
Yes.
And it went awry. A Nintendo Switch went awry. And the next thing you know, they're brawling in Shreveport.
Freaking brass knuckles, dude. Punched him square in the head and killed him outside the venue.
Fuck,
And I was
comedy's
like,
hard. We're doing the best we can.
we truly are, y'all.